So what is going to be in this course? First of all, before I just run through what's going to be in this course, one of the main things we have to understand is in Kundalini activation, one of the biggest things we're going to come across is questioning ourselves, questioning our reality, and that can bring up quite a few problems and uncomfortable situations. So just right from the get-go, if you want to do this course, you've got to realize that, for example, what Krishnamurti says, it's questioning everything about us. But that's on the journey. So what it is going to be in this course, because I've done many courses and I've taken many courses, and I find so many of them are missing either basic information or key information. So we are going to be going right from the basics and covering through every step and seeing different aspects from different cultures to bring everything into awareness as we are working to activate our Kundalini and, of course, to be able to give sessions to other people. So what is going to be in this course? Well, first of all, we're going to be looking at understanding what is Kundalini awakening and Kundalini energy and preparing for the activation. With this, obviously, we have to look at the activation techniques. We've got to look at the processes of awakening. And sorry, this is going to be a no-frills course. As you can see, I've got something written to the side of my screen, so I make sure I put everything in the video. I could make this a wow, lots of graphics, in your face, super entertaining course. But let's face it, that's not what Kundalini activation is about. It's about no frills. It's about being in our consciousness, questioning, awakening, and not lots of frills. So what else are we going to be looking at? We're going to be, of course, looking at the potential challenges and dangers of Kundalini activation. This is a very important part of it. And obviously, we'll also be looking at integrating Kundalini into our daily lives because we have to be able to do this. And there are certain things, for example, I've made a video, which is on YouTube, about anxiety, because anxiety will come up. The more we get connected, the more we're connected, the more we will feel these things. So it's very, very important. So, as I said, we're going to be looking at integrating Kundalini into our daily lives, but we're also going to be looking at the basics, talking about the chakras, the mudras, the hand, what happens with the hands. Now, this isn't necessarily one of the bigger points, but it is good to know. So if you're activating someone and you see them doing a certain mudra just spontaneously, because the asanas and the mudras become spontaneous. So just so you can know the basics of them and what they can possibly mean for your clients. We're going to be talking about the nadis, the energy channels, the meridians. We're going to be talking about the bandhas, how yoga does them correctly and how we need to correct these things slightly to turn them into pumps to move the energy around the body. We're going to be looking at, of course, breath work and pranayamas. Again, the way some are useful and the way some can actually build up the energy too much, how to calm us down, etc., etc. We're going to be looking at what are called the granthis or the dantians, which are three main energy areas of our body. And these are very important in controlling the energy along with the bandhas or the pumps, which will bring us to the microcosmic orbit, which is a circular system within our body. Some cultures will teach you it only flows one way. Others will teach you it flows both ways. We will be looking at that. Of course, we're going to be looking at the energy bodies themselves and the layers. We also have to look at classical tantra, because Kundalini and tantra are very closely related. Now, classical tantra is not the Western thing to do with sex. It's got absolutely nothing to do with that. It's energy movement. But of course, we will also very basically cover sort of like a tantric massage, because some people may wish to combine that with the Kundalini activation energy for certain clients. We're not going to go in depth in it, but just cover the basics. Because tantric massage is basically a slow form of massage with pranic or Kundalini activation energy involved. We are going to be looking at the basics of bodywork and somatic release. For you personally, to be able to release things before you start working with clients, but also so you can use it with your clients on a basic level, because we don't need to go into huge somatic principles and know exact points and pressures, because we only need it on a basic level because we're combining it with the Kundalini activation energy or pranic energy. So obviously we're going to be looking at pranic energy and energy massages too. We also need to cover what is called Wu Wei and Zazen, just sitting, effortless action. We need to look at Shaktipat and Kundalini activation, what some people say Kundalini activation is, what others say Shaktipat is. There are so many definitions and things, so we're just going to clear them up a bit and bring it back to the basics rather than the Chinese whispers about these things that have been played for thousands of years, changing things. Of course, we've got to talk about spiritual awakening, because Kundalini awakening is the purest form of spiritual awakening. As I said, we're going to be looking at beyond the awakening as well and what we're going to do. Of course, we have to learn the basics of mastering our own minds. Not only our own minds, but be able to help your clients go through these processes, because Kundalini activation is not just an experience, a thrill where you go to a group session, it's blah, 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 and woohoo, let's go on our way. No, it is a process of awakening. And unfortunately, again, there are many brands doing Kundalini activation energies that they do sell it as an experience, and it's not, it's a process. So, as I said, mastering the mind. We also have to look at grounding, because we're talking about energy work. Energy can be raised very high. So grounding is a very, very important part of this. As I said, we also have to cover the negative aspects and dangers of Kundalini. We'll probably look at this a couple of times because it is such an important part. We'll also be looking at the cultivation of Kundalini energy and what to expect and the changes we can have, the heightened awareness, possible, for example, increased sex drive, especially as you open the chakras, the psychic abilities and what the siddhis or magical powers are and what they aren't. And we're going to be obviously going through the process, peeling back the layers of the onion of our consciousness and just clearing everything. And we'll be doing this by looking at shadow work, of course, very, very important part of this. No one talks enough about shadow work and trauma release, very important parts of Kundalini activation. We're going to be looking at passive and active work in energy, because there are two very different ways to do it, and we're going to be experimenting with both parts. Active can be very powerful, but passive can be just as powerful. And then, of course, we're going to be having guided practices within the course. We're going to be learning about giving sessions. We also have to initiate ourselves. I will be initiating you into this energy, because without the initiation of the energy, there's going nowhere, really. Yes, you can learn to do this, and people have learned to do this without the initiations, just by building chi or prana. But with these energy initiations, it's where we get so much more powerful, so much faster. And of course, we will have, or we have you will have, and there is a private group for everyone who's taken the course, so we can have group sessions together, we can have meditations together, and just form a community for people to ask questions and be answered in the community. We can discuss the problems of just general personal things, but also situations that arise by giving the practice. Because obviously, this is not a course just for you to be able to activate yourself. It is a course where you're going to be able to then go out and help activate other people and give private sessions, group sessions, in a way that is the safest we can make it, the securest we can make it, and to help other people awaken and activate their energies. And then, of course, at the end, because you will be able to give sessions to people, we'll be looking at some basic business, I say basic, but very, very important business practices. How to get started in this, how to grow it. Because without any business practices, which again, very few courses will teach you, well, you've got all this information, and you've got these skills and you can activate people, but how do you actually get out there and start doing this with people? A very, very important part of it. So this is what is going to be in the course. I hope you're looking forward to it.